morning. How are you today, Dracula? How are you today, Sonic community?
Oh, doing good, doing good. It's been a busy week on my end. A lot of
Yes.
stuff going on.
Yeah, stop.
Um,
Before we go forward, I want to apologize, Dracula. I'm so sorry about what's happened, what you're having to go through here. But it's for the betterment of everyone, okay? Yeah. So,
yeah, some people last stream were saying, "Hey, are you head of ecosystem? Are you head of ecosystem?" And I had to I couldn't answer that yet. I had to wait for the announcement. So yes, thank you, Fallout Zone. I've joined Sonic Labs as head of ecosystem. So exciting stuff. Um, with everything going on, last 2 or 3 weeks, there was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of, um, I think it was kind of like the, what did they say? The straw that broke the camel's back. Um,
yep.
at labs, it's just that, everyone's trying to do their jobs, their roles, and at the same time be kind of like front facing and do community stuff. And, I think it was time for them to expand, bring in some extra people to, help the community stuff, be like on the front facing side of stuff. So,
Brought in a real pro. What does the head of ecosystem do? What does that mean?
yeah. So like basically the idea is obviously for one, they wanted someone that kind of like knows the community, is engaged with the community. So been around a long time, know a lot of you guys. So there's that aspect of it, like just trying to kind of like get messaging out to the community, let them know what's going on, but also, like take feedback. Around the airdrop, there were a couple decisions that obviously were controversial, and if everyone had more time, these guys were killing themselves working until the airdrop and everything. There was a lot going on. um there could have been feedback on that, or at least like the messaging put out beforehand. So yeah, it's feedback, it's messaging, it's also on like the project level, because like one of the other big things you see on the timeline is that of course we have our big projects, our blue chips, like whatever you want to call them. But obviously those aren't the only things in the eco. There's a ton of projects. So it's also about like just helping develop more eco content, and also working with like the protocols more closely, like on messaging about Sonic in general. So overall, it's just trying to like kind of keep everybody aligned, keep everybody happy, make sure everybody gets coverage, as many people get heard as possible. And yeah, it's a positive shift. I think so far the reaction has been positive. I kind of came in while the timeline was still a war zone, so I didn't really know what to expect. So yeah, thanks everybody so far. It's been a very positive, heartwarming.
If my ears did not deceive me, it sounded like you said as many people get hurt as possible. So if you're in
Yeah.
the Clippers community, which I want to plug here again real quick, Sonic Clippers, you can earn up to 9 million.
You can play it back. I know I said herd. So no.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just about overall, just like I said, it's just overall strengthening the communication with everybody, the protocols, the users, the communities. It was it's just been a long time coming, and the goal is just to hopefully, you ever like look out the window and you see the other chains and you're like, everybody's so happy over there, everybody's having a great time over there. I look over here, everybody's just having a good time. Everybody's bull posting, even if the market's down. Everybody's, feeling pretty good. So that's what we're going for, is like just to improve those relations with everybody, protocols, users, let the guys do their jobs, give them feedback too. So yeah, we will we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. So we'll see what we can get done here.
Me too. Follow Zone says great to see Sonic Labs taking suggestions. Community backlash. That's right.
Yeah, and
They
they
got
did. In case people still don't know, they did already launch the airdrop revision stuff that went live with the Paintswap order book yesterday. So we talked about it on the show, but if you had not claimed yet, they opened it up for the new claims. So now the minimum claim is 5S, and the order book's open. So that was a big point of friction around the actual launch of the airdrop. Was was like, they wanted the order book because it didn't really make sense for someone to get like 1S and then sit on a handful of S for 9 months. But now that the order book's open, it makes a lot more sense. People can like swap in and out or do as they please. So yeah, so that went live with the order book yesterday, and we're gonna cover that for sure because the order book is pretty sick, honestly. I wanted to pull it up.
I got it pulled up here, but I guess I don't even have an fNFT, dude. I thought I did. I thought I had one that we could trade on stream, but I guess the assistant just didn't want me to have one, guys.
I know you got one somewhere on there. I know you got one.
No, I guess the assistant just doesn't think I deserve one, guys. I guess I'm just a poor guy, just like you guys. Just fucking around. Let's see. This is not like the actual order book, though, right?
Yeah, you want to go to advanced so you can. Yeah, so here's the advanced view. Let's see here. What are you doing with these candles here?
Fucking around.
There you go. Yeah, the discount closed really fast on the order book. Right now on S, it's looking like about 17%. If you wanted to, you would take about a 17% hit if you wanted to just exit right now, which is pretty good. I mean, I expected there, of course, when it opened up, there was like some volatility, which was nice. There was like some cheap S for the scooping. I figured it would take a few days for the discount to close into like 20% range, but we're already under 20%, which is impressive. I mean, that's it's showing that there's appetite for S at a discount. And yeah, the thing is just like really smooth. It's intuitive, it's easy to use. Like I've seen people that aren't like necessarily like super familiar with like how an order book works, seem to like be able to get in, with little friction. So yeah, I mean, so far, shout out to Paintswap for developing this beast. I mean, you got to remember, this is this has never been done before. I mean, this is a totally unique primitive. So yeah, I mean, you can access this in the same area as the airdrop stuff. It's airdrop.paintswap.io. But yeah, you should go check it out, go play around with it. And you should set some orders because overnight, yeah, there's 3 markets. There's SUSDC and SCUSD. I would say right now SCUSD is not getting used very much, but the nice part about having the multiple markets is, the prices are different. So there's more ARB opportunities there to, if you're checking the S book, the USDC book. And, but no, what I was going to say is, because of the nature of an order book where you're having to the bids are having to physically fill the prices that are available. I had set a bid overnight for, I think, like 20 cents or 21 cents. And I woke up and it was filled. because, once all that stuff gets filled, it's just moving down the price thing, and then new people are setting bids. So yeah, it's worth it if if you got some extra money and you want to set some bids on the stink side, like 20 cents, teens, whatever. It might be worth it to throw it out there, because like I said, in one of these events where the book is getting wiped clear, because like a big buy or a big sell, your order might hit. So
Bro is bidding on 1516. No Diddy. Um, no, I mean, I think it's really cool. It looks like you were saying, while I was just flipping between the SCUSD and the USDC market. There's a pretty big gap there, and I'm pretty sure those assets are like the same price, 28 to 21 cents. Maybe I'm crazy, but it seems like a good opportunity.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And I mean, also on the flip side, I mean, you can trade this thing for real if you want to. I mean, for instance, like I said, last night I had an order hit for 21 cents or whatever. This morning the discount's already way less than that, so it's like, but yeah, it's cool. It kind of like, scratches that itch of like, being into order books, back in the day, like, before I ever got involved with projects or anything, I was just a trader, and that's what I did all day. Is I was on dexes and centralized exchanges, just having lasers shoot into my eyes all day trading. I was part scalper, part day trader. So I was like, you know, just watching this stuff all day. So it kind of, it makes me warm and fuzzy to see like this order book,
yeah,
especially,
nostalgia,
on chain.
yeah, nostalgia for the good old days, dude. Hopefully they keep iterating on this. Dude, imagine this this order book integrated into a 3D interface for S4 Kingdom, dude.
Oh yeah. Now that's an idea, man. All the items and stuff.
I'm telling you, I think that's where this is going. I think that's where the Paintswap geniuses are going. We're gonna have the most epic MMO ever. You're gonna be walking around a 3D world, mining, cooking, etc., etc., and then also trading live, dude. Um, but no, I mean, I guess new primitive. Love to see it. I think there's a lot more coming. I think this is the exact kind of fuel that we want to see, dude, going into this season too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's innovative. It's a new primitive. Somebody asked me like, do you think this could like take off into other areas? And I said I do, because, for instance, this would be an interesting way for a project to launch. You could start with NFTs that are tokenized. Like have a certain amount of tokens. You have the order book opened up. You just let people go wild, determine, what they think is the price, let everybody trade it, and then you finally, at some point you drop the tokens, that would be like a really cool way to do a TGE or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff. And, I'm just hoping, I know a couple people got some things cooking, but, I'm also hoping just to see things built on top of this, like lending for the fNFTs, maybe like liquid staking tokens. There's all kinds of stuff you could do.
Mhm.
And I think that's coming. Like I've heard whispers here and there of people kicking around ideas and maybe building a thing or two. So yeah, it'll be cool to see what people come up with. But I mean, it's just like I said, when you have a brand new primitive like this, I mean, it opens up all the possibilities of DeFi. So
Mhm. Yeah. It's like unlocking a brand new field that we can all build and play in here, right? All kinds of new stuff opening up. I'm stoked,
exactly.
dude. I really think Paintswap has a huge opportunity here for some exciting stuff to be built off of this. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, and don't forget that this is on Paintswap and it, adds utility to their project as well. So yeah, I mean, shout out to those guys. Amazing work. I've loved playing around with it. And I'm sure we're only going to see if you go to the S market, it's already pretty deep in terms of liquidity and bids and all that stuff. So, but I'm sure it's only going to get more competitive. And, I think I think yesterday they crossed over 1 million S in volume. So, yeah,
Dude.
hoping to see that increase.
Now, should we show people how to use this? It doesn't seem that complicated here. It's just a simple limit and market thing.
Yeah. So if you go to like limit order, you'll see there. Like I said, they made this really friendly for people that aren't familiar with how this works. I mean, so literally you go to limit order, you set what price for S you would be willing, to buy it at, like what's, basically like what's the discount. So you could say, yeah, like 0.5 or 0.6 or whatever. And then you set how much you're going to spend. And yeah. So like right there, you said 0.45. So that's, about a 50% discount, roughly, whatever. And how much you're willing to spend on it. And yeah, once you accept and all that, it puts the bid on the book. You'll see it on the order book. And yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, they, these things get cleared out. So have the opportunity for, you have the opportunity for some of these bids, if they're lower than what, the market's dictating, you have a chance for them to hit. So.
Yeah, so definitely recommend it, guys. Check it out. Discounted S. Wow, dude. I wish I'd been up earlier. Dude, look at this. You know how they say the early bird gets the worm? Look at that. 25% was only for like an hour or something.
Yeah.
Well, moving along. We talked about the season 1 airdrop eligibility. The SEC introduces Project Crypto following the Genius Bill. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I was let's see here. I was looking at it earlier. It's there's been a lot of like legislation going on here, especially like the last 2 weeks. There's been a lot of stuff going on. So basically they released this really large like crypto report, the White House did. Like, and it's huge. It's like it takes you like through the whole thing. It like takes you to like the origins, the first wave of kind of like DeFi. I mean, it's like 170 pages. I mean, it's intense, but I think needed. You know what I mean? For people that are still trying to like understand. So yeah, I mean, basically, this is kind of like eyes glaze over stuff about rules. But I think what's important is that what they're saying is that, like, they're going to roll out rules. And when they do that, they're going to work with, long-standing crypto projects in terms of like, hey, you guys got some time to like make these changes. I think it's more of like it's kind of like setting the tone versus the, Gensler era, where the Gensler era was like, who's going to get their notice today? Who's going to get it? Nobody knows. Are we going to take you to court? Maybe. Are we going to, it was very like, I mean, terror is kind of the word that comes to mind. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it was kind of like nobody knows who he's going to pick to go after, and nobody really knows why. And he's not telling anyone what the rules are. And he refuses to set hard, boundaries and rules. So I think what this is more about is just coming out saying like, we're going to be working on this stuff. You don't got to be scared. If you're already an existing entity, especially a large one, we're not coming to like round up your team. We're going to work with you to get you like compliant in the US. So all in all, I mean, I think it's like super positive for, it's super positive for crypto. It's been needed.
Yeah, you know how like the farmer, when he comes up to the cow and he's like calming it, he's like shh, shh, right before he freaking blows its freaking brains out and harvests it for its meat. That's what we're dealing with, folks. They're just letting us with a false sense of security before they hollow us out. Get it
Yeah.
together, folks. Okay,
Yeah.
decentralized. Some Sonic S is the ticker. It's the only way to go, guys.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like flipping through like some of the rest of this, but yeah, I mean like this headline kind of like sums it up, embraces regulatory shift. Like I said, it's more of like a kind of like you said, it could be a situation where they're, luring you in to drop the hammer, but overall, like I said, it's looking back on what happened with Gensler, it's got to go down in the history books as just some of the craziest. I mean, it really was kind of, I mean, you say crypto's the Wild West. I mean, this guy was truly like just doing whatever the hell he felt like on any given day. Felt like there was no,
Mm-hmm.
it was like when on Walking Dead, where the dude had everybody lined up and he was walking around with the bat.
Yeah,
It was like nobody really knew, like, okay, like who are they targeting today? Who are they, I don't know.
it was a wild animal, dude. Um, he was sending like what do you call those letters from the court summons? What's the other one called? Where you have to show.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
he was sending legal summons to DAOs and discords, bro. He was out of control, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine now. Do you remember this? Because I was just thinking about this. In the bear market, it was one of the weirdest things I had ever seen, and it was hilarious because nobody knew what to do. Where I forgot what DAO it was, but literally, like a lawyer, like basically had to post their info in the DAO's Discord, and like everybody was like freaking out. I was like, "Is this copy pasta? Is this real?" And then they eventually verified it was real. It was like, yeah, like the SEC like hopped in some DAO's Discord and we're like, we got to talk to you guys.
Yeah, if I remember, I'm forgetting what the word is. It's not a summons. It's like not an injunction. It's gonna drive me
I,
crazy.
yeah, I remember what you were.
Something,
It's called a something letter, a Wells letter, Wells notice. Is that what it is? I can't remember.
something like that.
Yeah,
Because it was like kind of like a contention point in legal philosophy. So it was like, how do you like? You have to like physically like notify someone if they have to appear to court, right? Like someone has to hand them like a letter. It's like the job, right? It's just like how do you do that against a DAO? And so the best they could come up with was dropping a message in the Discord. They tried a bunch of different ways, dude. Sometimes it was like just mailing something to like the house of like the person whose like phone number is tied to the Discord. Crazy stuff. Wild times.
yeah. No, Fallout
Well,
says we could return to that. If a non-favorable admin comes in.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
and I agree.
That's it.
Subpoena.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean Fallout Zone. It's true. I mean, because that's basically what we dealt with under the previous administration was they, had him doing that job for a reason, and I think that's kind of part of the problem is it's kind of like when you look at the Fed. I feel like the Fed does I'm sure the Fed, there's politics in the Fed, of course, but I feel like they do a pretty good job of being like, we're doing our job. We don't care what anybody tells us because, we're going to do it. So I feel like it was just, had there ever been like a more politicized SEC, you know what I mean? It just felt it's like they weren't necessarily doing their job. It was just like very politicized, which just felt weird. It didn't feel right.
This is what
Ooh,
Vlad
look at
said.
that.
Secretary is also USDT's lawyer.
Yeah,
Probably something.
I like
He's
that.
right.
Yeah,
And
Commerce Secretary is Teller's lawyer.
the SEC did feel a bit more politicized, but I guess as the like because of the kind of agency it is, like a prosecutory agency, it would just feel that way inherently, right? Anyway, not a legal expert. What else we got here? Like, because this is good. General positive sentiment here. We've got ETH price stabilizing around 3.6 Ks. Bitcoin stabilizing around 115 Ks. Is this sure, Dracula? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see on Ethereum, like everybody was kind of freaking out about the pullback, but I think we're already kind of like recovering in terms of like, we pumped and there was a pullback. Now it's like, I think that ETH had been making like such a big move that it was bound to, we had to stabilize somewhat. But yeah,
POS net back on down to 1100 $1,100. That's where it belongs.
yeah. I mean, nothing, especially in Ethereum land. So, but yeah, I think that overall market, it was, we were due for a little bit of like some alt movement.
Yeah, it was heating up. What I was seeing though is alts were kind of down across the board today, though. Even if Ethereum was cooling off a bit, because I saw, last night Sonic was looking all right. This morning I wake up, Sonic wasn't looking all right. I know. Wait, you can't talk about that sort of thing. Let me talk about it. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart first. Actually, let's see where if this went to BTC at all.
Well, the weekly BTC, as usual, like I said, it's my panic thermometer, and it still looks good. It looks strong. I mean, it's almost time for I don't know. I'd say it's almost time for a new meme line here. It looks like a little tight, but
Bitcoin's on a freaking tear, dude.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at this. It's never gonna stop. I mean, this is crazy.
Pathetic, dude. We're supposed to be. I feel so stupid, man. I fell into the meme, dude. Bitcoin. Oh, I can buy $100 worth of Bitcoin at 50 grand, and it'll only be 200 $100 when it goes up to 100 grand. Like, no
Yeah, I
one will
mean,
care.
like I said, if you had played the Ichi, you would have flipped bullish like October 2023.
Over.
And it was 28K range.
Dude, Yankee ran is right. BTC Max right all along. Always be stacking sats.
I've catched flack in the past, but I will always be the first person to say that Bitcoin is Bitcoin. You're always going to, it's always going to be important. It's not going away. It's the crypto store of value. You know what I mean? Like,
I solemnly swear to stack sats from this day forward, even when when the Bitcoin the Great Depression hits.
Yeah, it's ASS for short. Always stacking sats.
Always stacking. I like that. Do you think there's any kind of scenario where there would be like a massive pullback on Bitcoin at this point? There's got to be, right?
I don't know. It's
drop down to like 50 at some point or something.
Maybe. I just it's so hard to tell now because we talk about this practically once a week. That the ETFs basically are black holing supply. Then you got MicroStrategy doing what they do. I don't know, kind of like what we've talked about before, where it's like, will there be like a real alt season euphoria bull run like we've had, several, a few other cycles. And it's like with Bitcoin, it's kind of like, I don't know if we ever, I'm not saying like, of course it's like, yeah, like I'm sure Bitcoin in some form of retrace will dip back below 100 or whatever. But I don't know if we ever see another like 50-60% Bitcoin retrace again. I don't know if we do.
It seems hard to imagine at this point. I think we're in an ETF market.
Yeah.
I feel like soon it's going to be like who has an ETF and who doesn't. You know,
Yeah, and we're entering that era. I mean, yeah, Yankee says here, I don't think we will get the big pullbacks like before, as the entities buying it now are not going to let it, it'll affect the balance sheet too much.
because this would say that we need to, like you're supposed to have big pullbacks, dude. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination. It's like there's so much institutional money now, and the ETFs, and like you said, I think we're just at the beginning of the ETF stuff. I think we are about to enter. We got Bitcoin, we got Ethereum. I think we're about to see ETFs for majors get really close here. There's a couple of those that are really close to getting pushed through. So yeah, I think that's kind of the game. We're gonna see more of that, and I think that's going to affect everything. Like I said, in terms of, I don't know if you'll be able to hold out for, like I said, in a bear market, some 50, 60, 70% retrace anymore. I don't know if that's going to happen. I kind of don't think it is.
So you better start buying your Bitcoin now because it seems like this train's just not going to stop.
I mean, the way I
On
see it
the
is like,
Fallout,
if,
if it could save Ethereum, maybe it could save Sonic too.
yeah, I mean, the way I see it is sometimes I would just set areas for myself where it was like, okay, anything under this is a buy. It's just like, if Bitcoin ever went back under 100, even just 100, I'd say like, that's, I don't know, like probably a pretty good deal. I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, something not being taken into account, and Fallout Zone mentioned it earlier, is while all this has been happening, even though crypto is not necessarily like, of course we have Bitcoin and almost new Ethereum all-time high. The stock market has been making all-time highs, and that there's something to account for on that too. I mean, we're not like we have a lot of things looming in the macro, but we are by no means in a bear market overall right now. I mean, you can't be in a bull market, when the stock market is making new all-time highs like every other day or once a week or whatever, So we still have to see how that plays out.
I think this is an AI. I don't know. But they said, have you seen Sailor's report from 12 hours ago? And I looked it up. And the only thing I'm seeing is $14 billion in unrealized profit, dude. Is that true? Have you heard this?
I haven't yet. Yeah, I guess they put out their earning statement, and
Believe you. I'm sorry, dude. It just says give the man an AI. So I just kind of assumed.
Yeah, it's in the title. Give the man an AI. He's human. Welcome, human.
Yeah, I see. All right, I'll give him a follow back.
See, Corval, you can't even breathe. You're just gonna insult somebody.
I'm just judging by its cover. It's wrong. It's rude. Okay, let's see here. What else we've got? 200 mil increase in Sonic TVL Labs yesterday is gone. Huge deposits were made in Silo and Chunk, all gone today. Can you explain yourself, Dracula?
Well, I noticed that I saw that floating around about the TVL, and I don't know if it was like a something not getting like monitored correctly. I would tend to lean towards maybe it was some kind of, because this was on DeFi Llama, right? I would tend to side with maybe there was something happening with something being like deposited or wrapped, or I don't know. But yeah, obviously.
Wait, I'm sorry, you're right. The doctor did report in, and he did say that it was a glitch. Dr. DeFi said
it was a glitch. Okay. Well,
okay.
It was kind of like hard to believe. It was a huge, like what was it? It was like 250 mil or something. It was like something pretty significant.
Deposited in Silo, yeah. It's too much.
Yeah, he says Yankee says it was a glitch on DeFi Llama how they counted one of the silo pools. Control says DeFi Llama with the keks. Yeah.
We can't have shit on this chain. Okay, what is left, dude? What do we have? Is anything else happening at all in
There
Sonic?
is something I thought on this isn't, you know, Sonic, the big news is the order book and the airdrop redux, but this is getting interesting with Coinbase. As you know, they finally, this kind of ties back to like this SEC softer stance, you know, things like Coinbase and Kraken are getting a little more loose. And you know, Coinbase just ventured in the perps. And this is them saying that like they basically have all kinds of new products coming that will all be like available in the US market, which is huge. So yeah, they're looking to also get into tokenized stocks. But the thing that really struck me here was the prediction market. Obviously, poly market, a huge force, lots of revenue. I wouldn't think there would be like a situation where that would work in the US. But apparently, yeah, Coinbase has like made it very clear. They're like, we are working on a prediction market that will be available in the US.
Interesting. I wonder how they're gonna make it work. I was gonna say though, it's obvious, dude. Prediction markets are the way. You know what I mean? Like if you should be if you are thinking of what to build, or you're working on a prediction market, double and triple, quadruple down on a prediction market. That's what I would say. It seems like a good way to make a lot of money, and there seems to be a lot of demand for it.
Yes, it says crime is legal now. Everything can work. That's what it's feeling like. It's a good feeling.
What do you think about ING and RWA traditional market assets?
I feel like you're seeing more chatter lately about RWAs on Sonic. I think there's like there's something been going on where there's like a couple protocols that their whole thing is that like they can like help you with like RWA liquidity because, you know, they have like assets stored that they can, you know, back it with and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think we're slowly entering that. I mean, remember when like RWA was such like it was kind of like a buzzword, you know, it was kind of like a meta. But it seems like we're slowly like moving to like where that would actually be something that's feasible and interesting. That's just not like, oh, we have T-bills, you know?
Yeah. I think the RWA stuff was like getting popular in the bear market out of like desperation. Like people were like desperate, like, oh, we need to get like actual value onto the chain. And now that like the vapor's back, everything's kind of people have calmed down a little bit. But
yeah,
there are like some really cool RWA products out there.
Yeah, and I mean on this, give the man an AI. Yeah, I guess I'm not like super up on INJ, but I know that they do like perps and trading markets and all that stuff. So I'm guessing what you mean is like they're introducing some new RWA stuff. So yeah, could be interesting.
Check it out. Remember, I interviewed a guy who was allowing you to give loans through like I forget. I think he was on Ethereum, but like you could loan through like Ethereum or whatever to farmers in like Central and South America, and they paid you back with like a portion of their crops, dude.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
mean, it's
really
like,
cool.
yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that could come with that. I mean, like I said, it was kind of like a hype word, but I feel like there are like some it's slowly moving to where, you know, maybe one day we'll be able to trade orange juice futures, you know, take it on the black market, you know, since you're not allowed to trade it,
We're
in the real market.
We're getting there. Like You guys aren't ready, man. Like the black market that the Soviet Union had is going to look like a flea circus. Okay, to what we're going to have when the
Yeah, it's
United States.
like there's gonna be like a it's gonna be like you can like own a piece of like someone's like vault that is like yellow cake that they have yellow cake in it.
Exactly. Exactly. We're going to have a fractional reserve uranium lending and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just maybe it's because of what I was saying where it's been kind of slow moving. It hasn't been like super interesting to me. I think one thing I do think is kind of cool is I don't know, like Tether Gold is kind of like pushed out like into a couple like people have started to do stuff with Tether Gold. Like, you know, I think on Hyperliquid, somebody has like a Tether Gold wrapper. Um and I thought that was kind of interesting. That'd be kind of wild that like, you know, you're actually like holding a stake of, you know, gold and you're earning like DeFi yield on it. So, you know, it could get interesting.
Mm, it
Yeah,
really
Zord says
could.
fractionalized, restaked nuke stockpile futures. Yeah, that's the future, man, for real. I think um that's what we got to get into. Yeah, is like, you know, you can like back somebody's like arm stockpile, get a chunk of the profits.
Yeah. It'd be kind of intense to have a full operation like that running, like to have like I always think like commodities trading would be kind of sick with like crypto stuff, but it's like the custodian ship for that is like such a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like, where do I put 100 rods of uranium? Right? Like, oh, base guys deal to close. Fallout
Yeah.
Zone will always uranium. My uranium company that I do not own any shares of anymore, went from $5 to $10 in the last 2 months. I don't know if you remember me telling you about it, Dracula. Um,
Yeah,
maybe I'll
we were talking about it because I was saying that when I was first kind of like getting into crypto, one thing that kind of led me to crypto was just being like a little bit like I'm not going to say a little bit of a degen. I traded normal stuff, stocks, whatever, but I discovered a community that was all penny stocks, and it was insane, you know, because it was kind of, you know, it's similar to crypto. It would be a lot of stuff would be, it's like boom or bust. You know, you could like have way bigger returns than you could trading stocks, but you know, it could also go to zero basically. And around the same time, it was like there was like communities around uranium because it was so volatile that there were people that do nothing but trade, you know, stuff like that, like trade like the and um, you know,
be. Yeah, it is like super volatile. It's kind of awesome because I have like a couple stocks that I have on like my watch list when I open up my phone, usually to look at crypto prices. But I'll see these stocks that I don't even trade anymore. It'll be like McDonald's, super stable around like 250. Which fluctuates between like $4 and $10.
yeah,
And
dude,
it's like,
yeah, it's still volatile.
but these other ones are just as bad, dude.
Yeah, like I said, it had like its own like little subculture of people that were like, you know, like uranium, and there's like some other like kind of like precious metals that are also like super volatile, you know, that people get into trading. Um, but yeah, man, we're getting close to an hour here. I think that was all we really had today. Did you have anything else?
Nah, that's all I've got, dude. So I'm just talking about uranium now.
We'll set up a second show for uranium, the Uranium Wednesday Power Hour.
I think we are gonna set up something for the middle of the week. I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Um,
Uranium Super Wednesday.
Something for the newbies, dude. We're gonna start getting the newbies on board.
Yeah, yeah, we've been talking about that. So there's probably going to be like some more content, extra content here coming soon. Should be a good time. But yeah, that's all we got for today. We will be back on Tuesday, and yeah, once again, thanks for all the wishes on head of ecosystem. Excited to take on the role. We'll get things rolling, and yeah, we will see you guys next week.
Awesome. See y'all then.